Today I stand before you all to denounce the blatantly false misinformation campaign by a local pastor which seeks to undermine both law enforcement and a societal structure built on the rule of law and belief in personal accountability.
That video that was showed on the news was the aftermath of him talking to me like that, him doing the breathalyzer, him cursing my auntie out, telling her to go move her car, he's going to take her to jail. That's her walking back from her car from telling her to move it for her.
Do you not hear me?
Did you not just leave somebody in that vehicle to get hit?
That's my child.
So get it on the road.
A lot to unpack here from recent video back and forth between the Jacksonville Sheriff's Office and a woman who says that you saw her there, that her and her family members were mistreated by JSO officers following a crash back in December. Emma Jean King, who you heard from in that video, says that she was treated like a criminal, not a victim, after a crash back in December. And Sheriff Waters says body cam video disproves her claims, you're watching that now, as a false narrative aimed to undermine the trust in local law enforcement. Again, a lot of back and forth. We're going to try to sift through all of that right now with crime and safety analyst Ken Jefferson, who is here with us dark and early on Good Morning Jacksonville. We appreciate you waking up with us.
Certainly.
Ken, let's jump right into this, because a big thing that we heard from Ms. King there is she's saying that video that we saw released from JSO was actually rolled after this breathalyzer incident happened. I want to talk about the protocol when it comes to that, when they actually start recording the video, these officers.
Officers are required to have their body cam on as soon as they get out of the car. Sometimes they have it on before they get out of the car. As you can see on the video when it started yesterday from Sheriff Waters, the officer is driving up, and there's one walking up at the same time the officer was driving up. Both had their body cams on. Now, when you talk about a breathalyzer, JSO does not perform field breath tests, breathalyzers tests. So that disputes that automatically, because if a person is involved in a crash, the primary objective is to check on the injured driver or passenger or whoever is injured in that car. That's the first objective, and help them provide medical attention through EMTs, JFRD. Secondly, if they suspect that you are under the influence of alcohol or drugs, they will normally give a field sobriety test in the field if you're able to. But this woman had injuries, so she needed to go to the hospital. If they suspected her of DUI, they would have drawn blood from her at the hospital, never perform a field sobriety test. They don't do breathalyzers tests in the field. They don't even carry equipment for that.
The obvious question, though, is there perhaps more video that hasn't been released that you know of?
The entire video, from my understanding, is on the JSO's transparency page. You can see the whole thing in length in its entirety.
Yeah. Now, the sheriff actually doing this press conference in the first place to bring attention to this is not really that usual. I want to know, what do you know about the decision behind him actually doing that yesterday?
I totally understand why he did it, simply because he vowed in the campaign that he would be a transparent agency, and he doesn't want to withhold or not show the public what's actually happening. He's been forthcoming with a lot of things that's going on within the sheriff's office that we normally probably wouldn't even know about or even see at a press conference, but he's trying to continue to be transparent with everything that's going on. So he wanted to dispel everything that was wrongfully said, to constantly build the trust up in the community. It's a fluid type of thing that you have to do. You have to constantly build the trust up between the Sheriff's Office and JSO.
Ken, I do have to ask you this briefly, because we saw some back and forth there between a woman who was a family member of King and JSO. They were trying to keep her away from the scene. Yeah. What's the protocol when it comes to that? Because that was one of her claims, Ms. King, saying that they were not allowing her family members to be with her during this time of distress when she was in pain. Well,
they eventually did allow the family member to be there. The protocol is you take care of the injured, you make sure it's safe. You know how many people, rubberneckers, are involved in crashes that are not involved in the crash because they're looking to see what's going on. They're paying attention to the side as opposed to in front of her. So the officers was trying to express to her that she needed to move her car and get out of the way, and they'll allow her to go up when everything is safe. They're trying to keep everybody safe, but you got to understand, you got a child or your loved one that's been involved in the crash. You don't know the extent of the injuries. You see the damage on the car, so you're emotional.
Yeah.
The driver was emotional as well as the mother emotional. The officer was just trying to contain that situation.
There were definitely high emotions there. Ken, I'm sure we'll see much more of this throughout the day here in First Coast News, and of course you'll be with us by our side throughout the entire thing, walking us through it. We appreciate